What's up, everybody? Coach TJ going live from the office today. Just wanted to check in and go over a little lesson. Might as well. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is the 3 ways to maintain your strength and your muscle mass during this quarantine. All right, something that, most of our athletes right now are dealing with this, obviously, right now, obviously lack of access to a gym. Maybe lack of a plan. Thankfully, most of our clients right now are either at home working out with our equipment that we've given them, or obviously they have a plan of some sort. So today I'm going to go over the 3 things that you should really be focusing on right now, because we're going to be in this for at least another month. I can't see us coming back anytime sooner than that. But again, this is something that you don't want to allow this time to go by without improving something, right? And the number one thing to improve is your mindset. So I'm going to go through these 3 things, and obviously a positive mindset is very important, but very specifically, we're going to go through these 3 things right here. And let me find my marker. All right, so number one, we're going to talk about protein, right? So what you're eating is very important, right? We want to make sure that you're getting at least about a pound per body weight in a day, right? So if you weigh 150 pounds, you should be taking in anywhere between 120 to 150 grams of protein per day, right? So if you divide that by 3 or 4 meals, you're looking at 30 to 40 grams in each meal. Right? It's something that you definitely want to keep track of, especially in this time. And I have it as number 1 because it really is, if you're not keeping your nutrition on point, then you're most likely not going to see that weight stay up. And a lot of our athletes are looking to maintain muscle mass and also maintain strength. Now, even if you're an adult and you're looking to lose fat, maintaining muscle is really, really important as well. All right, so it's something that you definitely want to support no matter what diet you're on. You always want to keep that protein within that range, okay? Somewhere around 0.8 to just above 1 pound per body weight, all right, in grams. All right, so again, some ways that you can kind of go by that, and one rule of thumb that we use a lot is Precision Nutrition. One of the things that they recommend is you take your hand-sized portion of protein, all right, and you want to get about somewhere around 2 hand-sized portions in each meal. All right. So again, you take your hand minus your fingers, and you're going to look at that, and that's really the size of maybe a piece of chicken. It's the size of piece of fish. Anything even like vegetarian. You're talking things like farro, things that are going to be higher in protein, even tofu. So if you're looking at protein size portions, you're looking at your hand. All right. So 2 hand-sized portions. One other way to get protein in is to do it through a supplement, right? And again, it's the last thing I'm talking about in protein, but supplementation sometimes is something that will definitely help. So we actually have a partnership with Thorne Research. They're one of the highest quality proteins on the market. They're NSF, which means they're certified for sport. So all of our athletes, that's why we recommend it, because we're able to. And you're going to get about 20 grams of protein per scoop there. So you could do a scoop and a half, and now you got 30. All right, and that's something that's an affordable way to get some protein in your body, and it's also a very easily digestible way. And what we usually recommend our athletes do is take that protein right after they work out. All right, so they're going to have their shake post-workout, maybe with a little bit of carbs. But again, protein is that staple that we want to make sure that we keep that consistent as we go. All right. And again, these are all things that you can control yourself, right? Making sure that you're eating the right things. A lot of times it's very easy to eat a lot of carbs and fat. So that's one thing that I didn't necessarily I didn't talk about, but keeping your protein up is really, really important, especially when we're talking about maintaining muscle mass and maintaining your strength. All right. So number 2, to maintain strength is to strength train. Right? Hard to write and talk at the same time. So obviously strength training is very important. And again, we understand that a lot of you are at home right now. If you're not an AMP athlete, you probably don't have access to much equipment. All right. But you can be resourceful. obviously using your body weight is one way to challenge yourself and to continue to build strength. Another thing that you can do is use household items. We posted a couple of days ago, maybe it was yesterday, Coach Marcus just kind of went over some variations of exercises that you can do with just a gallon jug. I'm sure you've seen this stuff on Instagram and whatnot, but making sure that you're resisting some movements, and if you can't even do that, then just making sure you're focusing on form, intent, and tempo. Okay, so things that when it comes to that, you want to make sure you're using the full range of motion that your body possesses, being able to do a proper squat, for instance. Making sure that you're also playing around with the tempo. So one way to really stress your body is to move slowly into the eccentric portion of the movement. So if we're squatting, on the way down, moving nice and slow, maybe a count of 3 to 5 seconds. Okay, maybe you pause at the bottom. Okay, so an isometric hold at the bottom of that squat, and then still be explosive on the way up. You could do a squat jump, you could do a regular squat. So it's just one exercise that you can obviously utilize to maintain your strength. And you can really challenge yourself, especially in push-ups, rows, things like that. You can really, really challenge yourself by just slowing down the tempo, and you're putting your muscle under that tension that's going to maintain your strength, and you could actually gain some strength in that as well. And with our at-home training programs, we're actually focusing a lot more on volume. So what that means is more reps and more sets of each exercise, and we're also focusing on the time that exercise is taking. So time under tension, making sure that you're moving down nice and slow, you're controlling, and you're being nice and explosive on your way up. All right, so again, that's two things right there. Another thing is sprint work. Okay, sprint work is one of the best things to stay explosive, right? If you look at the difference between a long distance runner and a sprinter, the sprinters have much more muscle on them. They're going to have much more in their lower half. Their hips, their quads are much bigger, and that's mainly because they do a lot of sprint work. So obviously, to be a sprinter, you need to do that often, and that's something that you're recruiting a fast twitch muscle fiber, okay, which is actually going to be a larger muscle fiber when you recruit those types. So really important, keep your sprint work up, keep your speed and agility training up. And like I said, our AMP athletes all have their training program. We recommend 3 times a week strength training and another 1 to 2 times a week working on explosive speed. All right. And one thing to think about in our link tree, if you go to our bio, go to our link tree, you're going to find you can actually download one of our training app. It's with Train Heroic, and you'll get a free 2-week program for an athlete or anybody that's looking to just maintain strength with minimal equipment. We actually put a free training program there, and you can direct message us here if you're looking for extra help on top of that. All right. And then step number 3 is going to be sleep. Okay. So obviously sleep is very important for recovery, okay? The number one thing that we're seeing a lot of our athletes, is they're having a hard time falling asleep, all right? They're up, some of them are up doing homework, although most of them are probably up playing video games. So that's something that if you're falling asleep at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you're going to have a really tough time actually getting restful sleep. Okay, so one supplement, but it's something that's actually excreted or secreted in your body naturally, is melatonin. All right, I don't necessarily recommend jumping to supplementing with melatonin right away, even though that is an option. But know that your body actually secretes melatonin naturally sometime around 9 p.m. Okay, so if you're going to sleep at super late, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're kind of fighting your body's natural ability to fall asleep. And that's why it's actually harder to fall asleep the later you go to bed. So I would always recommend that you try to start going to bed, at least get into bed before midnight. And those 2 hours between midnight and 2 a.m. are going to be much more restful sleep for your muscles and for your mind, and then you're actually going to be more refreshed in the morning. You're not going to be sleeping until noon, all right? And again, this is all coming from, the major things that we're seeing our athletes are dealing with. The major concerns that we have is obviously nutrition, training, and sleep. And those are the 3 things that, again, if you can focus on just a quick set of things instead of trying to control everything, if you can focus on those 3 things, you're going to be successful in the long run. All right. And again, we want to make sure that we're coming out of this thing better than we came into it, right? So this is the time where obviously you're home a lot, you have a lot of time to think, but you should have a lot of times to work on yourself and work inward, and then also help others around you, right? That's one of the things I've been talking a lot about is gratitude and making sure that you're helping others. And that's, at the end of the day, it's what we're trying to do here. So again, when it comes back to sleep, you want to make sure that the light that you're watching on your phone, whether it's on your phone or on your TV or your video games, whatever you're doing, everybody's heard of blue light. So you want to make sure that blue light is not exciting your eyes and your brain too late at night, all right? If you're trying to go to bed, you should really turn those lights off somewhere around like an hour to 2 hours before you're really trying to go to sleep. So it's really difficult to play video games all the way up until, if you want to go to bed at midnight, let's say, and if you're playing video games until 11:45, your brain is excited and it's stimulated. So you want to make sure that you're turning those off and kind of have, whether it's an alarm that goes off, a hard shut off, just a reminder, a little bit of a nudge in your calendar that says, hey, it's time to go to bed. You can do that on a daily basis, something that I actually do. Just to get into the habit, sometimes you have to set it in your calendar. All right, so that's something, wearing those blue light blockers is another way to help. Who knows how much that actually helps. I use it myself. Anytime if I'm on the computer later than about 6 or 7 o'clock, I wear those. I feel like at least that it helps with the eye strain for sure. But give those a try. Again, focus on those 3 things. It's protein, making sure you're getting enough protein in per day. All right. Number 2 is that you're continually getting your strength training in, right? At least 3 times a week, focusing on strength training, again, with the tempo, making sure that you're doing everything with proper form and you're still working on recruiting those explosive muscle fibers, especially with that sprint workout as well. And then the last thing is that you're getting enough sleep and your body is recovering from those workouts. All right. And again, if you guys, we're going to be posting in the next couple of minutes about how to get our at-home workout, all right, just to give it a try. And if you have any specific questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We've been helping, our AMP family and our community through this time. And, we're really proud of how far our athletes have come. And I understand that this is not easy. I really feel bad for all of our athletes that are not able to compete like they should be out there on a beautiful day like today. They should be out there on the field. But at the end of the day, we can't control that. So what we can control is what we focus on. Again, just to recap one more time, protein, strength train, and sleep. All right, focus on those 3 things. And again, sometimes you have to have tunnel vision in this time and don't allow all the negativity to creep into your mindset. All right, talk soon. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out right here. Direct message us. We're always here for you. All right, thanks, AMP family. I appreciate you. We'll see you soon.